Hello and welcome to ET Garage. Today's video is going to be a continuation of the playlist for this Targa top that I'm repairing. And hopefully by the end of this video it will successfully be attached to this composite panel, this frame. And successfully I mean by it doesn't ever fly off. But anyway, hold tight, let me move the camera around, so just hold on a second and I'll start showing you what's going on. Okay, if you're not familiar with what's been going on, this I'll leave a link to the playlist somewhere up here and over there, and you can just wait to the end of the video to click on it and watch all the others, or stop and come back, whatever makes you happy. But anyway, basically my Targa top, I have two of them, a transparent one and this one, which is the fiberglass panel, composite panel, SMC, whatever you want to call it. And it started to separate, and there was all sorts of aluminum oxide corrosion in here, which was causing it to separate. So I'm not going to go into detail about that. You can just go back, watch all the other videos. But today is to try and get this bonded, and how I'm going to do it. I've never done this type of repair before. I'm not a body person. I don't like doing body work, but just so you know, in case you plan on doing a repair like this, so far I probably got about $200 in material to repair this. And by material, I mean the special caulking gun that I need, and the material I'm going to use to bond it, and other things. And I'll go into that more here later. But for now, I'm just going to go over this. This is all primed with etching primer. I'm going to have to clear this, clean this down to bare metal where it's going to get bonded in this track here. Hopefully you guys can see that. And reason I primed it was to keep it from corroding. So I did that, primed it until I could get back to it. And I should have took measurements before I separated it, but it's not a problem. I got it separated. You can see the shadow here from where it came off or where it was glued, so I'm using that as a guide. And what I did was, let me flip this upside down. I'll show you what's going on. Lined it up with the original marks. Took some measurements with a dial caliper. And just squared it off, front, rear, back, all that good stuff, side to side. And then I made these little clamping blocks, and I'll show you one of these. These aren't really clamps, but yeah, these aren't really clamps. These are just guides, and these are what I'm using to set up. Here you can see where I have the blocks clamped with some clamps just to hold it in place. I got it lined up, took some measurements, got it lined up, and I just took these two pieces of wood that I had. I had a bunch of this molding around. It's like an L molding, and or corner molding, and drilled one big enough so the screw slides right through it, and pre-drilled the other one so the screw goes in it without cracking it. Once I got it lined up, I simply slide it on. And don't use a drill to do this. Make sure when you tighten your screw or screw gun, just use a hand drill, a regular screwdriver when you do that. If you make them like I do, I'm using these because I don't have a bunch of different. I have a bunch of different clamps, but not for this purpose. And just seems to work real well. It holds it in place and lines everything up. And I need to get it lined up perfectly when I bond it. Now, another problem I'm having, let me move the camera again. Okay, if you look right here, you can see where it's moving, and the panel will be wavy. So what I did was I made cardboard spacers, and I'll go into more detail about the cardboard spacers and why I'm using them. And that's going to hopefully help it hold to the contour of the frame. And I'm going to show you more why I have a space there here in a second. Let me move the camera again. Okay. Let's see. You look here, there's these plastic buttons. I got them painted over with the etching primer, but they're plastic and they act as spacers, and they make about a, I don't know, 1/16 to an 1/8 inch gap here between the surface of the composite and the frame, and that's where the epoxy fills in the rest. And you need to have an equal space all the way around. They don't have them on the front of the frame, on the front or the rear. So I'm imagining they use some type of spacer, like right here. I'm going to put a piece of cardboard, and that's where the epoxy will go. Same with the front. And let me sit this back down on there. Show you another thing. Now I'm just guessing that's what those buttons are for, spacers, but I also believe, after lining it all up and everything, that they probably had a fixture at the factory or something like that, and clamps. And if you look here, there's these buttons that go here and that cover the other side. And I think what they did was they had special clamps that went over the top and clamped that down. So basically, I'm just going to use whatever clamps I have. I'm going to go out and spend a bunch of money on clamps for a one-time job. I'm not a body person, and well, I may never use those clamps again. I got a bunch of these old clamps laying around. I'll use as many as I can, and then I am going to use if I have to, I will use some straps, tie-down straps, like this. Put it around it and hope it pulls that all in. Like I said, I want to get it even across the frame. I don't want the fiberglass molding to be wavy or anything. It just won't look right. I got to do the front and the rear. I'll put a spacer here. It doesn't look like I really need it. I don't know. I guess I could play it safe and cut some pieces of cardboard, more cardboard, and stick them under there just to play it safe. And maybe I'll do that. But before I do any of this, I need to clean the paint off the frame. I need to sand the surface of the composite panel where it's going to get epoxied. And I'm going to go ahead and do all that and get back to you here shortly. Okay, I sanded everything, cleaned it, and I'm going to give it a wipe down with some wax and tar remover. Get any final contaminants off of there, and use rubber gloves and follow the directions. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll start talking about the stuff that I'm going to bond with, and we'll get on with that. The scary part. That's what I consider the scary part, is when we bond it. So hopefully I'll get this done right away. Okay, I wiped it down with the wax and tar remover and followed the directions best you can. It always says wait 4 to 6 minutes and then wipe it dry. In my opinion, it always seems to dry by itself, majority of it, before that even happens. You can see where I got some down in there I gotta get. I don't want it spilling out, but anyway, so I also went over with the hot air gun and dried it that way too, because I'm blowing it off. Even though I blew it off with the air hose and I have an air oil separator, that still get moisture in the system. So I'm blowing it dry with one of these, make sure I get everything out. And then I'm going to get on to go over the epoxy I'm using. So hold tight. Okay, this is the epoxy I'm using. Fuser T21 Slow Composite Adhesive, OEM approvals, And recommendations: GM, Ford, Packard, Navistar, Mack, Valvo, Peterbilt, Kenworth. Application: bonds plastic and e-coated painted metals, large body panels, ground effects, fairings. And if you go on their website and the other sites, it also says you can use it for rooftops and, you know, composite rooftops and all that stuff. Good thing is it has a 45-minute work time, especially for a novice like me. Clamp time is 4 hours, and by clamp time I mean you want to keep it clamped for 4 hours. Sand time is 60 minutes. Paint time is 60 minutes. And the way I'm going to apply this, of course, it's 2 tubes, and you need a gun like this. Now I got this off of eBay, and you might want to get ones from Fuser. The ones from Fuser are a lot more expensive. This works, but it doesn't quite fit right. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about here. They're just let me clamp that up there. There we go. Like, see how it's just a little too wide? I mean, I can use it. I could grind these down on the edges here and make it fit a little better, but it'll actually go. Here, let me show you real quick. See, it goes in there, and it looks like it's going to work. Get that sucker in there a little better. There we go. That seems better. And it seems like it's going to work fine. Yeah, so that's how I'm going to do it, just like that. And one thing I did, I went to their Fuser website, and they had a video. And what you're going to use are these mixing sticks. Each one comes with 2 mixing sticks, and it actually mixes. The way I understand it, I've never used one of these, but the way I understand it, as it flows through the tubes, it mixes it. But before you put the mixing stick on, you're supposed to squeeze out a little bit, then put the mixing stick on, and then go ahead and apply the stuff. Now, the warnings on here are usually typical for any type of bodywork product, so follow the warnings. It does say if you're not in a ventilated area, you should use a mask. It doesn't specify what type, but try and follow the safety regulations. I'm not sure how this is going to smell. We'll find out here shortly. If there's a lot of fumes, I'm going to be I don't want to do this outside. It's just too humid outside. It's supposed to rain. Inside the basement, I don't know if you can hear it in the background, I got the dehumidifier going and my duct ventilation system going, my dust ventilation going, and I'm going to leave that all going, and I'm probably going to open up windows, and so this way all the odors escape. So let's see if I can move the camera around and get something down here to mix this on. Alrighty, here we go. First time doing this, working with this type of product. Hopefully it goes good. Not sure what this is. I guess that's just a plug to keep it sealed up. Yeah, I see why they want you to do this. This actually squeezes out pretty easy. Yeah. And the reason I say is because it doesn't come out even at first. So I guess that's the reason, or at least what I'm saying the reason for they want you to do that. The odors don't seem bad. That's good. And definitely want to wear gloves. So get this on there nice and tight. And let me get the camera moved a little bit. Okay, here we go. This is actually squeezing out really nice. I thought it was going to be real hard, but it ain't. This gun I'm using is working really well. I think I'll squeeze a little out on here. It's pretty interesting the way it goes through there and mixes up. So let's see how it comes out. Alright, there it goes. Now I can cut the end of this tube, and I think I will, to make a wider end on there. So let me get some scissors or something. Yep, there we go. Yeah, I'd say that's better. Okay. There we go. Get it nice and thick. Whew. Even though this is easy to squeeze, my forearm is definitely getting a workout. You can see why they use the Famatic ones in the body shops, probably. At least I would assume the body shops that do this all the time use an air-powered one. Okay, one mistake I made, I should have masked off this frame. So this way when the squeeze out came out, all I had to do was pull the masking tape. I ended up having to not separate it, but pull it up and squeeze more underneath. So I wish I used more. That being said, I did have to open up another tube to do that. Also, another problem I ran into is with that gun. I'll show you that here shortly. And that I'm not too happy with. I can clean all this off probably, and worst case I'm going to have to just get it smooth and paint over. It's going to be where no one's going to see it. I should have removed these felt pads. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'll probably remove them and put new ones on, so it ain't no big deal. But let me clean this up some more, get it off there as much as possible. I'm not sure what you can use to clean this. If anyone knows, let me know. It is sandable, so that's a good thing. And definitely wish I used masking tape there. Oh well. So be it. This is a learning experience, and now that you see me do it, you know not what to do. Okay, as you can see, it's all clamped, and I got the straps across, and this has been sitting a couple of hours now. I'd say 2 hours, and everything is on there really good. This stuff is pretty tough. I have to say that. It's still got to do the 4-hour clamp time, but what I'm going to do is 4 hours from now I'm not going to want to work on it. So I'm just going to play it safe, probably wait till tomorrow morning, which will be close to 24 hours, and then I'll take the clamps off and we'll see how we're doing. But for now, I'm going to end the video here. This is probably going to be over a 20-minute video as it is, so I'm going to end it here, and I'm going to have to make maybe a part 6 and maybe a part 7. I'm sorry about that. It's just that not a really quick, simple process. I could have probably done a 15-minute video about the whole thing and not showed very much, but I don't know. This is how it ended up. I'm not going to keep babbling on and boring you. Next video, I'll go over removing the clamps and cleaning it up and getting it painted, and video after that we'll be doing the vinyl wrap. So, or redoing the vinyl wrap, whichever way you want to look at this. But anyway, like I said, I ain't going to keep boring you rattling on. So everybody have a great day, and God bless.